It's Aaron from GameEnthus.com. We're here at PAX East 2017. I'm talking to Kai about Has-Been Heroes. So tell me a lot about Has-Been Heroes.
Well, Has-Been Heroes is a strategic roguelike game. It's a game where you use a lot of melee attacks, spells, combinations of the heroes, and just kick a lot of evil skeletons in the butt. It's a very deep game, actually. It's the looks can be a little bit deceiving. It's a cartoony game on the outside, but it's actually very challenging, and it takes quite a lot of hours to beat the game.
I just finished playing the demo a couple of minutes ago. It is just learning how the lanes sort of move was interesting. It's going to take some time to kind of get used to it, but once it feels good once you have all three of your characters attack like the right person or get the right spell across.
Yeah, it's a lot about coordinating the lane attacks between the different heroes. Some of the characters hit for different amounts of swings. So like in the demo, you have the warrior hits once, the monk hits twice, and the rogue hits 3 times. And the different enemies have different amounts of stamina. And yeah, you just want to match the hits with the staminas of the enemies to stun them. And also the different characters do different amounts of damage per hit. So the warrior does like over 100, the rogue does something like 20 to 40, and then the monk is like 1 to 8 or some like under 10 damage. So you really just want to do the finishing blows with the warrior or the rogue, and yeah.
So how many playable characters are there?
There's 12 different characters, but the characters also come in different like skin variations. So if you include those, there's 33 different ones. So quite a lot.
So it's sort of I guess, not to be reductive, but it's sort of like a constant rock, paper, scissors on who you have up front and who you attack first. Is that sort of what you were going for?
Yeah, I guess so, a little bit. You use the melee attacks, but then you also have to use the spells. And some of the spells can be quite powerful, and use the spells in combination with each other as well. And yeah, it's a lot about just strategically thinking about your moves, both in terms of the melee, the lane swapping, and then using the spells in addition to that.
So I'm assuming you were, since you were a part of Frozenbyte, you were involved in Trine 1, 2, and 3?
I've been there since Trine 2.
Okay.
But yeah, Trine 2 and 3.
So how did the team sort of go from that style of game, sort of a stylized environmental puzzle action platformer, to something like this?
Well, for Has-Been Heroes, we kind of took like a team-based approach. We have a few teams at Frozenbyte right now, and this was initially a small team that just wanted to make something a bit different. They wanted to do something challenging for players, and they really had the sort of roguelike, like permadeath, randomized items, spells, that kind of things in the back of the head. And yeah, at some point we just prototyped a few things, and we had something really addictive, like very early phase, so we just went on with this one, and yeah.
So I guess my other question is, in terms of the you said permadeath, so when one of your characters dies, you're done.
Yeah.
How much back and forth was there amongst the team about that?
I think it was not really much back and forth. Okay. Everybody liked it because it keeps the game fresh. Every time you play, you get different items, you get different spells for the characters. And yeah, dying is part of the game. You learn more by dying, and also rewards you by when you die, you unlock more stuff. So the pool of items and enemies and everything grows bigger the more you die.
Okay.
So it becomes more variation.
You know, you can combo 2 different spells together, so you can combo like the rain makes someone wet, and then combo with fire, with lightning, and they get hurt more. Can you do 3 or 4 combinations of different spells?
Well, sort of. In the demo, what I like to do is, or teach the players is, first you, for example, use the fire on some guy, and then you see like, oh, there's lots of skeletons nearby, but on other lanes, and then use the wind spell. So the wind will knock him around and then spread the fire, and then I use lightning. The lightning will explode when it hits the fire. So yeah, things like that. And then depending on what element spells you have, you just experiment and learn as you play. There's like so many spells that there's really like hundreds, thousands combinations that you can do.
If I'm being completely honest, I was watching one of the gentlemen here demo the game for me before I had a chance to play it. Of course, he's very familiar with it. I'm not. Once I was holding the controller, I did not do as well as I would have liked. That's okay. It was the first time I'm playing it. Are you finding that you all have struck a really good balance between the difficulty of the controls versus the just overall? Are people walking away knowing like, hey, it was challenging, but I know if I come back, I'll do better?
I think we hit a pretty good balance with it. The controls, it's very different from anything else like out there because it's quite a unique way of controlling the characters on the 3 lanes with the buttons. But after you play it a couple of times, it really strikes a chord, and most people just automatically start to understand how the controls work, and it becomes like automated. So, yeah.
So since you have you can choose and customize the team that you have, right? You can pick from ultimately from the 12 variations and then the skin variations of the team you have.
Yeah. Once you've unlocked the characters.
Yes.
So like you start out with the 3, the rogue, the monk, and the warrior. But as you beat the boss fights, you unlock more characters.
Could you pick 3 characters who all have the 3 hit points? And if you did, would that like break it, or would there be a trade-off that you would have if you did that?
You can't pick the rogue is the same, and then the other characters are like replacements for the warrior, replacements for the monk, so they hit like 1 and 2 times every time. So there's no like 3. You couldn't get 3 characters that hit 3 times.
Okay, I was just wondering if because that's something that might break it if everybody could hit 3 times. I guess if they did, maybe their damage is low, but they hit 3 times. But that's the trade-off that you make, and just whoever you pick in general, the 1, 2, 3. There's a lot here. It's very deep. Really, it's coming out fairly soon, correct?
Oh yeah, it's coming out March 28th.
And it's going to be this will be downloadable, and there'll be retail versions of this game, correct?
Retail exclusive GameStop. And then downloadable to pretty much any store, like on Xbox, PS4, Switch, and PC.
I guess one last question. About how large is the team?
Frozenbyte in total is like 90 people. The team on this one is like, I think, 20. It depends a little bit on different phases of development.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks.